2,000 years ago, one man carried the weight of the world literally. He was beaten, humiliated, and nailed to a wooden cross. And yet, he did it willingly. This isn't just a story of pain, it's the story of unimaginable love. Stay with me as we walk through the final hours of Jesus Christ, a journey that changed the course of human history forever. It all began in the quiet Garden of Gethsemane. The night was still, but the Son of God was trembling in agony. He fell to his knees and prayed, "Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22:42. In that moment, Jesus wasn't afraid of pain. He was feeling the crushing weight of humanity as sin. Every lie, every betrayal, every dark thought, all of it pressed upon him. He sweat drops of blood. Scientists call this condition hematidrosis, where extreme stress causes capillaries to burst, mixing blood with sweat. Even here, before a single nail was driven, the suffering had begun. Then out of the darkness came torches. Soldiers, and leading them, was Judas, one of his own disciples. He approached Jesus, kissed him, and said, "Rabbi." It was the kiss of betrayal for 30 pieces of silver. Jesus was seized, bound, and taken to the high priest. The disciples fled. The same people who shouted "Hosanna" days earlier now turned their backs in fear. He was brought before the Sanhedrin, Israel's religious court. False witnesses rose up against him, twisting his words, mocking his truth. Through it all, Jesus stayed silent, fulfilling Isaiah's prophecy. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Isaiah 53:7. Meanwhile, Peter, his most passionate follower, was outside the courtyard. When asked 3 times if he knew Jesus, Peter denied him. And as the rooster crowed, Jesus turned and looked at him. That glance broke Peter's heart. He wept bitterly, realizing he had done the very thing he promised never to do. Loneliness wrapped around Jesus, betrayed, denied, and abandoned. But he still loved them. He still loves us. The Jewish leaders couldn't execute him themselves, so they took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate examined him and found no fault. He sent him to Herod, who mocked him and sent him back. Pilate said, "I find no guilt in this man," but the crowd, stirred by the priests, began to shout, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate's fear overcame his conscience. He washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood." Then he ordered Jesus to be scourged and crucified. The hands that healed the sick were now bound in chains. Roman flogging was no ordinary punishment. It was designed to break a person before death. The soldiers used a flagrum, a whip with leather straps embedded with bone and metal. Each strike tore through skin and muscle. History records that many victims didn't survive the flogging alone. 40 lashes less one, because 40 was known to kill a man. His back was torn, his body weakened, his blood poured out, for you, for me, for all mankind. Isaiah 53:5 says, "By his stripes we are healed." Every lash was a symbol of redemption, healing the brokenness of the human soul. Then came the cross, a heavy wooden beam, rough and splintered. He carried it through the streets of Jerusalem, stumbling under its weight. The path became known as the Via Dolorosa, the way of suffering. Crowds jeered, soldiers mocked. Yet some wept quietly among them. His mother Mary. At one point, he fell so hard he could no longer stand. A man named Simon of Cyrene was forced to carry the cross for him. Even then, Jesus spoke not of revenge, but of mercy. He said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and your children." Such compassion, even in agony. At Golgotha, the place of the skull, the soldiers stretched him out on the cross. They drove iron nails through his wrists and feet. Pain beyond imagination surged through his body. They lifted the cross upright. The weight of his body pulled on torn flesh and bone. Every breath was a struggle, pushing up on nail-pierced feet just to inhale. Above him, a sign read, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." It was meant to mock him, yet it was the truth. For 6 hours he hung there, and in those hours the sins of the world were placed upon him. He cried, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Not because the Father abandoned him, but because he bore our separation. Then he said, "It is finished," and he breathed his last. The earth trembled, the sky darkened, the veil of the temple was torn in two, symbolizing that humanity could now approach God freely. The soldiers pierced his side to confirm his death. Water and blood flowed out, the sign of a broken heart. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus took his body, wrapped it in linen, and laid him in a borrowed tomb. But that tomb could not hold him, because love doesn't die, it resurrects. Jesus endured the cross for one reason, you. If this message moved you, don't scroll away. Please type in the comments, "Thank you, Jesus." Like this video if you believe his sacrifice still saves today, and subscribe for more biblical storytelling and truth. Turn on notifications so you never miss another moment of faith and inspiration, because this isn't just history, it's the greatest love story ever told. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video.